Hey everybody, another edition of Off the Top Rope here off the Mike Sports Network. Depending on when you watch this, I mean, this is a sort of a precursor to AEW, a big night for them. At least they want to keep telling you that. I choose to look at this show, Spring Breakthrough from Boston, as like, a PLE level show. Honestly, this card looks better than Dynasty. And yet, what everybody is talking about and what the AEW marks and and everybody alike, including Tony Khan, want to make the show about passing WCW and dunking on Eric Bischoff, which I think is completely taking away from what this show should be. Because this is exactly like this whole situation is exactly emblematic of what is wrong with AEW. They are focused. I've talked about this on the channel. They're focused on pushing, stars that they didn't develop, that they signed over with money and then they're about dancing on graves and making these milestones up that, like, granted, it is kind of cool that, hey, they've lasted as long as they did, but they're making this about a petty thing because Eric Bischoff doesn't like them and doesn't like the way that they're doing business, and he's allowed to have an opinion, and whether you love him or you hate him, Eric Bischoff's kind of right. And by basically just plastering this all over the place and catering to the internet mark fan base that they have, the meaning of what this show could be on the same week as WrestleMania could be a completely different show. Because let's be real, and we'll see how they handle this tonight. See if Tony Khan does some stuff or if they plaster it all over. But if you're paying attention to the internet, everybody on the internet wants them to absolutely just, shit all over Eric Bischoff and shit all over WCW, which I think is just a stupid idea. Like, make it about the wrestling. Like, there could be a huge debut tonight against Hangman Adam Page. Some people are speculating it's Josh Alexander, which, I think would be cool. I think it'd be dumb to put him against him, but hey, Josh Alexander debuting at AEW, that's a huge get. He's a great performer. You could have Jack Perry come back, which I think would stink, but given the story and what they're trying to tell with Hangman and the Young Bucks and the Elite, kind of makes some sense. So the intrigue around that is cool. Mercedes and Athena, even if I think the match and the feud is kind of rushed, doing that in Mercedes' hometown of Boston, almost a year to the day since she debuted there, is really cool. Takeshita and Will Ospreay, are you kidding me? And we might finally get some title change off of the Death Riders. Yet nobody is talking about that. Nobody is talking about that. All I see on social media is these gifs of Eric Bischoff and, like, him getting dunked on, him getting thrown in the trash by Vince McMahon, him with black stuff all over him from, I think he did a spot in WWE. It's like, guys, get over yourself. A former wrestling promoter doesn't like your product, and and the fact that AEW is taking time out of their, contract to, just dunk on this on Turner Television to promote a milestone that means absolutely nothing. It's stupid. It's petty. And the pettiness from AEW continues to get in the way of what they really should be trying to do, and that's create good, compelling television. And we saw this last year when CM Punk went on Helwani show almost a year to the day. And what did it do? They used two segments of their television show, one with Will Ospreay just to, take a shot at Triple H, and then the other one to air nearly year-old footage of CM Punk literally telling the exact same thing that he happened on that show. Like, pettiness continues to just ruin this company, and then they try their hardest to, like, say, hey, we bring in the top stars and we're the best wrestler, and you bring in a bunch of people that WWE just doesn't want. And then and then by extension, you're also becoming a training ground for WWE's future, with Mariah May reportedly looking like she might be heading to WWE. Ricky Starks, now Ricky Saints, Ethan Page. Like, you've got many, many examples. Stephanie Vaquer. Like, so many people who were literally on AEW television within the last 2 years are going to be at Stand and Deliver, at NXT Stand and Deliver, a show that is outrating AEW's A show. Like, look, I will fully expect this to do really well in the ratings and stuff, but I think the wrong message has been set to the fans, and the tone has been completely off. Like, I'm looking at the internet in the last couple of days, and everybody's just glorifying, hey, they're the longest running, primetime wrestling show in Turner sports history. Guys, you guys realize that WCW hasn't been on the air in 25 years. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing? Make it about the talent. You got a stacked roster. Your booking decisions are questionable, but this card, let's talk about. Like I said, let's talk about it. Like, the wrestling and like the match card from that perspective is better than the pay-per-view you put on less than 2 weeks ago. That's a problem. That's a problem. But you've booked up this show, you've made it feel big, you've made it feel important, and yet all we're talking about right now, at least all the marks are talking about, is haha, we're about to pass WCW. When the reality of the situation, when you apply full context, they haven't even equaled a single number, even close to a single number that WCW ever produced on Turner Television. That's the thing. So I don't know why we're even having this discussion. I don't even know why we're doing this. It's because it's an internet thing that has been created for months, and Tony Khan latched onto it because he's a petty, petty man, and he wants to feel good about himself and pat himself on the back that, hey, we're going to make this about, some goofy milestone that means absolutely nothing in the wrestling sphere. It means nothing. It means nothing whatsoever. They've held on to Wembley for so long. At least that was a physical record that actually made sense. And, hey, we put so many people in Wembley Stadium that, it's in terms of tickets, it's one of the best on record. Cool. What does this mean? It shows the reflection of where AEW is. They are trying to make themselves and pat themselves on the back and make themselves feel good about themselves to get you to look at them and say, oh, hey, this company's kind of cool. When in reality, they're not. They're not. Get the pettiness out of it. Focus on the talent. Focus on making better creative decisions and less on this shit. And then maybe people will start to migrate more to your product. But you are catering to a niche audience and a internet mark fan base that, is just like, everybody's like, F Barrett Bischoff, all this. Who cares? Who cares? Who cares about that? Like, it's the dumbest shit I've ever seen from any major professional wrestling company. Focus on yourselves. Focus on yourselves. It's that simple. All right. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. We'll have a lot more content. Probably going to do a live post show after this because I feel like this is going to be fucking insufferable. Who knows? Maybe it'll actually be good and I can actually have some positive things to say about AEW, but I'm not optimistic. With the way this direction is going and the way Tony is chronically online, I think this is going to almost be like a love letter to AEW in terms of, haha, we passed WCW. So we'll see. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. I'll see you guys soon.